All right, in today's video, we are going to talk about weight loss. And I think this is both an amazing topic, controversial topic, and at the same time in pharmacy, it's almost a yucky topic because this prescription, it depends on who you talk to. It helps a lot of our patients and we deal with, obviously, if you are on this weight loss medication, we've seen patients lose weight, and then most often they end up having to adapt a healthy lifestyle. And then they lose weight and they're no longer on these medications. I think we've seen this in our celebrities. We see them lose a lot of weight and nobody want to talk about it. It's also very stigmatized and it's such a taboo to talk about it. Now, for those of you watching this video, you're probably, again, either you're a pharmacist, pharmacy owner, and trying to understand what can you do to improve your business. And it's very hard when you know that the insurance company are always trying to stop you from either creating a program and your patients cannot afford this. So we're really going to dive in some of the most interesting way for you to nurture your patients. I bet you most of the clients that we have that are actually, turns out, that are really coming to us and say, hey, is there a way you guys can help us with opening or creating an additional stream of revenue for our current pharmacies outside of the PBM? And I think the most requested one is weight loss. So let's go ahead and dive in because I want you guys to take a look at what we have created here for you. Let's take a look at these amazing designs that we've created, right? So it just depends on your pharmacy or your options, but we have done e-commerce. Again, Klaviyo is such an amazing email marketing tool. We can be very creative. This is one of our very, very successful campaign series, and I'm sharing that with you guys that's watching this. And I am also going to have you look at these. You can download it. So here, what we did is we actually had 5 email sequences or email drips. Depending on your marketing agencies, if you hire one, they have their own different lingos. But for me, I'm saying this is because we've hired external agencies in the past and we ended up building our own marketing team in-house to be able to create the demand we have here. Again, you have to understand in today's time, the behavior of your patients/customers is no different than anything else that are consuming online. Even yourself, I'm going to tell you, I have a lot of brands that I'm a big fan of and I buy those products and I think it's great, but they have to constantly send me emails sometimes if they have a deal or if they have any promo. That is no different than you having your business, okay? So we want to make sure that you guys understand that this is also happening in your pharmacy business. So just because you have an online store, let's say you got your online approved and it's not getting banned, you want to make sure that you have a way to nurture your patients, right? In a standard pharmacy, you either are having refill reminder, you see them every single month. The difference with this online, by the way, so you have to and can be very creative. Now, if you are using your PSAO, your McKesson, your Cardinal, Amerisource, Bergen, whatever standalone website available to you there, you can't create this. There's no way you can create this because all of the clients that we handle now have to start from scratch, okay? So I just want you to understand the value of having this very unique customized design, okay? Again, these color palettes, we've tested this and this works very well with women. And that's the majority of the patients that are actually here. So what we've done, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here, is what we created is a tier process. So this is a starter glam, and I have to thank my sister for this actually. We were having a dinner and I asked her, hey, what do you think I should name it? And obviously I have 2 amazing sisters. And one of them said, hey, why don't you do a starter glam, right? We all want it to be glamorous. And sure enough, we took that, we tested it, and people love it. So when you look at this, I'm going to zoom in and I hope you guys can see this. Welcome. This is one of our nurturing ways of really giving and providing kind of a comparison. A lot of our patients that are in this weight loss are anywhere between 25, 30s and then 40s and I have 50s. It varies. Now, the key here is that this is actually a very, very interesting question. And I think, we can take this offline. Or you can ask this actually in one of our Q&As so that I can actually answer that question with you. Or if you don't want it to be in our community and you want to talk to one of us, just send us a DM and I can actually explain this probably better. But for the sake of those watching this video and wanting to understand how to create your own weight loss in your pharmacy, let's use this one. This is still, to be honest with you, a much more cheaper cost than Mounjaro and Zepbound. And I think this is, we've seen this a lot in celebrities, and, they talk about this now more openly than this ever been. Now, the question is, in this particular example, in this email in comparison, although you and I know that most of our patients that come to your pharmacy, they're going to ask, I cannot afford $800 for this, okay? Then this is where you as a business owner have to think about a business reason, how to actually solve that problem. So you wanted to make sure that your patient is losing weight. You're not allowing them to buy this somewhere in the black market, right? I've seen that happen. Or you'll see them compounded. Okay, we own our compounding lab, but this is the part where you want it to be. If you don't have a compounding lab in your pharmacy, you can still have this business. And the goal here is that you want to make sure that you offer kind of a solution where they can actually pay, kind of like I'll pay 33 now, 33, 33, 33, whatever the program you're going to design, because it depends on where you are in the country. Some areas like Los Angeles, New York, Dallas, Texas, you get a lot of people who are willing to pay full price and they just want it to be done. But I'll tell you this, if you are creating this, it's going to be very hard for you to have an app or a third party where they can kind of charge the patient's installment plan. So what we've done is that since pharmacy is a very interesting niche, you're probably not going to be approved if you create, let's say Klarna is one of them. I love that company actually, but you can't have that with pharmacy. It's just the nature of what they take. So you're going to have to be very creative in how you offer this. And we'll show you how to do that too if you decide to have this, in the future for your business. But you have to be very flexible to allow your patients. Most often, I'll tell you this, if you offer this, you'll see your patients come to you about a 90-day. Again, it's a rule of 90. You'll see them with you. Most of that, you guide them on their weight loss success. And they end up trusting you even more than they already trust your pharmacy. But when you create this, what we decided was a lot of the questions of our patients, we listen to our patients, is that they tend to have, most of your population in this audience is they shop. And you go to these skincare, all this makeup, next thing you know, you're like $100 plus. But when you actually ask them to spend money on themselves, on a medication, they're like, oh, I'm not really sure about it. So we created this side by side so that they can really understand that, if you lose weight, you're going to be a lot healthier, new lifestyle. And, when I used to work in one of our pharmacies, I really see that you understanding the pain points of your patients does incredibly well. So this entire email sequence for us did so well. We had thousands and thousands of patients nationwide just from this email sequence. Again, you're going to see it today. Starter Glam is $99.99. Depending where you buy your medication, you probably buy this from one of your wholesalers, and it's a little bit tight, right? But what we're trying to do is give them savings for the patient. So at the checkout, we build this for you. You have to be creative. And then let's say they already are your patients, right? Or they sign up, they looked at this. I'm not really sure yet. I wanted to do that. This is the second email we send, right? Here, you're going to see it. This is Wegovy, right? These are, again, some of our steps that our patient care coordinator have done. And we still have our patient care coordinator. Some of our top tier clients now that we handle their operations, they use our team to be able to service and accommodate that entire service model that they've expanded. Because if you decide to have this and you now become a go-to solution in your community, in your town, trust and believe, you're going to have a team that's going to need to take care of them, because these aren't your typical patients that are just sick or they're diabetic at this point. They have multiple medications. They just really want to lose weight, right? And we know that the PBMs are after pharmacies who are trying to help your patients lose weight, right? But we also know that off-label, this is what is being used. You have providers there that are also wanting you to lose weight, and this is not something illegal, and this is a fact. But it's just these PBMs don't want to pay you. They don't want to pay These patients that are insured, that's where I draw the line. So that's why I think as a pharmacist and a pharmacy owner, you have the power and the ability to create these services for your patients. One, to help them, and then two, you build trust again in your community. And number three, which is the biggest thing, you create your own streamline of revenue to your business. Who doesn't like that? But you have to understand how to sell that to your patients. They will come to you if they know that you have this, right? Now, in this one, again, we don't just create specifically for Ozempic. The first image that you saw is Ozempic. Some patients we have transitioned because they had very bad side effects with Ozempic. Really, really bad. We put them on Wegovy. Again, depending on your medical team that you have, your telehealth providers. For us, we have nurse practitioner, we have medical doctors, and we have dietitians also to ensure that you're not just selling your medication. You are, in fact, taking care of the patient up until they've reached their goals. So you have to be very committed to the patients that you sell these medications to. Now, again, these are just some of our, starter glam, right? You wanted to make sure that this is your patients that you're appealing to. And sometimes it's funny, they wait until holiday seasons. And we're right around that corner. December, January, February, March. So that entire first quarter, maybe not December, are the biggest and busiest for weight loss. So if you have not created this or you have thought about it, probably now is the time for you to take a look at this. The other time in which we've seen a huge spike in business is around summertime, right? When you have your bikini bodies. So I think it's very cyclical. But again, as pharmacists, our job is to ensure that they are safe. And at the same time, they're not buying medications in the black market or wrong, wherever that they're buying on the street. So you want to be that go-to pharmacy still doing the right thing for our community, right? Now, remember, we don't typically do this in pharmacy today, right? I know this because it took us many, many years running our company for me to really understand the value of email. That's really how we communicate in today's time. And SMS, believe it or not. You want to be able to create the segmentations of your business where you can actually communicate with your customers. Now, when you are selling or you are trying to promote a very expensive drug, the beauty of this is it's not a hard sell, right? Because the word is out there. Celebrities are already using this. But your job as a pharmacist and a pharmacy owner still to make sure that your patient can benefit here. You still have to do a routine questionnaire for your patient. You can't just push it just because they're going to give you money. Again, you're not pushing weight loss just for the sake of selling weight loss, but you wanted to make sure that your patient also doesn't develop comorbidities because they couldn't lose the weight, or some of them have really tried all the diet and it's just not working. We have seen many, many cases, more on that cases whereby, they did everything. And when we put them on these weight loss medications, they did incredibly well. So for us, our goal is, believe it or not, I would get text message from friends, or patients. A lot of our patients still have my phone number, and they'd send a message. Where can I get this, weight loss? Or have you heard about this? So you want to be able to ensure that you're offering a very safe option for your patients, right? I'm sure you guys have done, phentermine, all this weight loss popping in right and left. But is it really safe, right? And I think sometimes there is this unfortunate business process that's happening in pharmacy that the pharmacy owners or pharmacists cannot sell this because PBMs are telling them, no, you can't do this. Even though providers, we know this on a national level, there are providers that would want their patients to be on here. I mean, I can go on and on and on for hours about this. But here, what we're trying to, again, encourage you is to just entice a very sensitive weight loss conversations, right? This is such, to this day, believe it or not, is still very, very personal to a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of men. And it's too personal. I mean, because they're really telling you, hey, I've tried everything and it's just not working. So more often is how do you then deliver that conversation? And as if you're consulting, you do your consults with patients, right? We're pharmacists, we do this consult all the time, but you're not rushed. So we have to then create an alternative way where they can actually look at these options in a more creative way, right? So I have to then think about, on a business hat, in my marketing hat, in my creative hat, would I have our marketing team create this design, right? Because when you look at this now, it looks really great, right? It's like, oh my God, this is amazing. But to actually sit there and look at this, knowing that your patients are struggling, I struggled my own weight loss for the longest time. So I've used this, I've lost a lot of weight, and I'm grateful that this is actually available for you. So when I create and I look at these email marketing or anything else we do, I always think about it, what if I'm that patient reading this? The other thing too that we have seen more often, maybe if I can zoom it in a little bit, is this question: what is the difference of this, right? So again, this is how do you then create more of a pharmacokinetics, therapeutics, right? Conversations, but make it more easy for your patients to understand and visually appealing. That's a very hard thing to do, because then you have to have your creative team, your graphic designers, your marketers, who are not medical people, yet take that and help your patients understand visually. Now that's where the art of that, and I'm grateful I have an amazing team. And finally, right, so we nurture this every single day. You get this email for your patient, and then finally, we have this kind of a offer for them at the end of the series of that email. And by this, trust me, you're going to get a lot of calls. That's where I think in today's time, you have to really look at diversifications of your business in pharmacy. And we're going to go through this. We're going to go through a lot more examples, not so fun, but you guys have to look at this if you are not looking at your pharmacy operations today. If you don't have any ancillary services in your pharmacy, you are going to get killed. And creating this creative weight loss, which is so big in today's time. These are huge dollars, by the way. Each of these pens could be $1,200, $1,300, and it's how you create this offer to your patients. Again, it's up to you depending on where you are in the country. Some of your patients cannot afford $1,200 right off the bat, so you're going to have to create some installment plan for your patients. You cannot use this with insurance. They will never, never, never approve this. And if you do, you better watch my other video on PBM and clawbacks. And then right here, I just kind of want to show this part over here, which is actually our patients that have transferred, okay? So this flow, I want you guys to take a look at. It's exactly the same, right? It's exactly the same what you've seen in the email sequence, but we kind of changed it a little bit, and this is really for patients transferring to you. So once the word is out, they started to trust your brand, they've seen you, you're going to have patients reach out and say, hey, how much is this? And hey, I can't pay this at Walgreens, even though I use GoodRx, right? You guys, pharmacists, pharmacy owner, you know what GoodRx would do to your business and bottom line. And we can do another video for GoodRx, in our next video, or we can actually talk about that in our weekly QA or one of our webinars, my webinar, so you guys know really what is the problem with that. Now, we have had patients that would actually give us, hey, I'm transferring this from one of the big chains, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Fred Meyer, Safeway, wherever you are. And when we get that, our pricing is very, very competitive because we look at the patient as a whole. That is missing in our country today. That's not available. They look at you and they would always just say, I can't help you. But you have to be very, very creative. You have to have this empathy and at the same time, creative solution to help these patients in the United States today, how they can actually do that. And that's why we built this program where it's installment plan. And we've helped a lot of patients. And these are a form. Again, we've created this. They click this. They tell us where the prescription is. We consult the patient again. And then we get their prescriptions. And then we ask them, hey, what's the price? How much are you paying this? You'll be surprised. Some of them are paying $1,500. And then you get to start to build that patient trust, right? They may come to you. They probably live 2 hours, 3 hours away from your pharmacy. But now here they are going and doing business with you. Without your online presence, I hate to say it, you're going to hurt yourself in the long run. Because if you open and expand this is the fastest way you're going to expand your business, pharmacy. If you are actually using in today's time, this is online, right? Emails, social media, you got to really start to be there so that they know that you exist and there's people behind these images and you have a team behind it that would actually respond. And there is a pharmacists, right? We're the most trusted profession, believe it or not, in healthcare. And I feel that if we don't continue doing that, it's really unfortunate for our patients. You see them, you see their medications. Now, when a patient transfers to you from a weight loss or whatever program you decide, right? Men's health, weight loss, cash program, I'm going to go over that in some of our amazing videos I have prepared for you all. Trust me, you're going to have patients that are a lot further from where you are, willing to do business with you and transact with you because you have now expanded your reach. You're no longer just 1 to 3 Main Street, wherever you are, that you're depending on foot traffic to get there, right? That's the problem, right? That's what's happening right now. But if you decide to invest in your own brand as a pharmacy, you are going to compete and you're going to thrive. If you don't, you're going to fold. Probably too late for some of you watching this. You wish that you've watched this. Now, transfer, again, we want to make sure that your patient are transferring their medication. Are they on the right dose? So let's say you don't have a team right now that can actually handle that. We have our team, right? You can actually hire us to be able to do that. This is where we have these conversations with your patients. Some of them prefers SMS, some of them phone call. But before, when you have this trust now with your patients, and believe me, they tend to respond better on SMS, or sometimes they'll send you a very long email. But if you don't have any time, you're filling prescriptions, you have your technicians, and you're literally under all the paperwork trying to run your pharmacy, you can outsource this to us. And what we do is have and build a trust with your patient, with your brand, and you get to see them really trust with you. Because just because the prescription is transferred, you never know if the patient's been on that Ozempic or Wegovy, for 3 months and they're hitting a plateau. How do you make sure that that patient is actually ready to increase the dosage? So again, we wanted to also supplement that with their lifestyle and all that good stuff. So in the long run, I am for weight loss, believe it or not. And I wish there's less taboo with this and help our patients in the long run. And again, this very, very obvious question, what's better, pill versus injectables? And you'll see that. We've seen patients that are on oral medication. Phentermine's one of them. Kiss Me, I think, is another one. It's Phentermine plus another medication. And, they don't like the side effects. And they would ask, hey, is there a way I can try this? Then obviously you're going to go through the overall intake, assess the patient. We have a very, very thorough process before they just get a prescription. So that's another thing you want to make sure that if you decide to have a telehealth in your team, you want to make sure that you have the capacity to really assess the validity of that patient needing the medication. Because again, you don't want to be on the side of the corner as well. You want to still be really, really taking care of the patient, and you're maintaining the patient's profile is very important. And finally, right over here, we want to make sure that, again, giving them a heads up if you're going to ship this to them, how long it might take, and then, again, just making sure that you have your concierge service for your patients. So making sure that you understand and you guys can see that, hey, it's a little bit overwhelming if you're watching this video, understanding this email sequence, but don't be overwhelmed. If you want to learn more about this, or if you're ready to get your pharmacy started, send us a message or click the DM, send us a message, and one of our team is going to speak to you and hopefully get you as one of our clients. So I will see you guys in our next video.